Wait a second.
Hang on, where are you going to stand? Are you going to stand over there or here?
We're videoing you.
We're videoing you.
Reading the
Yeah, but am I talking to you or him?
Her. Or you can talk to the camera if you like.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, please.
Right, tell me when.
Go for it.
Ready? Do you view the transition to a low carbon economy as an important area of investment for New Zealand?
I think it's an important area and it's achievable, but not with the current policies that are being employed now, and having particular regard to our major trading partners and their response, or rather lack of response.
So how should our government promote the research and development of new green technologies and sustainable practices to key businesses?
Well, with sound tax cuts, which makes it possible for research and development to take place, that is going to advance the quality of human life and sustainability, or by a system of grants based on the likely efficacious result from such research.
What role do you think that green jobs have in reducing New Zealand's unemployment problems and in contributing to a greener future?
Well, if by green you mean to do things that are sustainable, long-term economically sound, that is in the interest of good economics because it is sustainable, then I'm for that. Wise economies, particularly those such as the Scandinavian countries, have been doing this for years. And we've got things we should have learnt from them a long time ago and put into place here.
Do you think that the ETS is an equitable system which delivers the right economic signals and incentives to polluters?
No, I don't think it's an equitable system at all. First of all, I want to know how come this problem, which has been created by significant polluters, he's now got a trading mechanism controlled by those same people. That is, they've grabbed the problem and are seeking to exploit value from it. So I do not think it's an equitable system, and I do not think it's going to work the way things are panning out. And having regard to Australia being in chaos on this issue, the US not being on board, nor is China, which is one of our major trading partners.
Okay, so what changes do you think are needed to the ETS to make it a more effective method of reducing our country's emissions?
Well, you can make all the changes to the ETS you like, but unless you get the major economies of this world and our major trading partners to step up and be responsible at the same time as we're trying to be, then it's not going to work. And Kyoto right now is in a mess. And I think we should acknowledge that rather than just to, carry on as though it's all happening when it's not.
So there's been recent government endorsement of greater exploration for oil, gas and coal, particularly lignite reserves in New Zealand. What are your opinions on expanding our country's fossil fuel industries?
Before I answer that question, none of it makes sense if we allow extraction to bring so little benefit to our economy. So fix that problem up first before you talk about sustainable, environmentally sound extraction. But I think it is possible to have environmentally sound extraction and use of our resources. But that critical element of sustainability and environmental soundness should be part and parcel of every planning process. And there should be no distinction of land. People are talking about dock land, they're talking about private land. Environmental sustainability and safety should apply across the board no matter where it happens, public or private land.
What do you see as the main future sources of energy for New Zealand?
Well, we've got a tremendous source in water energy, one of the greatest volumes and percentages in the world. We've got tremendous solar power, marine power. We've got a lot of options, and I probably think that we're probably resource-wise second only to Saudi Arabia in the big picture. But a lot of it, of course, requires safe development.
Do you feel that the government should be giving more support to renewable energy industries?
I think it most certainly should be, but it also should be doing downside more with getting, in terms of our traditional energy sources, such as hydropower, getting far more out of it rather than the enormous waste that is going on in New Zealand businesses, homes, cities and towns and the countryside today from energy.
The government has decided to spend over $10 billion nationally on new highways, 7 times as much as on public transport. Would you support the reallocation of the spending to public transport initiatives?
I've always believed in the New Zealand railway system that both for passengers and for cargo, I've always believed in public transport in the urban setting, and I sort of do that with the Super Gold Card where old people are concerned. We're making a grave mistake here, thinking that this love affair with the car can go on in this country. Where possible, and public transport can be built, constructed, and operated at near to cost recovery, we should be doing it. It's about living in a country that has a civilization, cities and towns that work. This pathway down which we're going now is not a sound investment in the long term.
Okay, and lastly, how do you feel New Zealand can best reduce its carbon emissions?
20 to 500, depending.
Well, every New Zealander should be aware of their reducing their carbon emissions, and there's countless suggestions, but the biggest one is to cut out the personal waste, which we all are guilty of. It requires greater education and a greater self-consciousness and, above all, sound peer pressure to ensure people behave in a more responsible way.
Thank you very much for your time.